Hey guys, I'm here to give you my thoughts on Daredevil Season 3, which was just released on Netflix a few days ago. Okay, so I just finished the last episode about a hour ago, and I really want to talk about it. Not too much, but enough. I'll go into some spoiler territory later, but for now, I'm going to give the basics, just the characters, some really cool stuff that I liked, but nothing that would spoil what happened. So the first thing I want to say is I was a little nervous when they announced that there was going to be 13 episodes, because a few of the other shows would kind of drag things out when it comes to having 12 or more episodes, whether it was Jessica Jones Season 2, whether it was Luke Cage Season 1, whether it was a majority of Iron Fist Season 1, it dragged out a lot of stuff. This season, I'm surprised with how they were able to keep everything entertaining. I was glued to my TV or computer screen for the duration of the whole season. I was not bored once. I was never exhausted. I was never tired. I was never annoyed. I was never super mad at characters or events or anything this season. There were a few parts where I kind of got a little nitpicky, not because of the show itself, but a little bit of the writing direction. But I'll go into that a little later when I go into spoiler territory. So the returning characters, Matthew Murdock, Karen Page, Foggy Nelson, Wilson Fisk, that awesome beard guy that's in charge of the Bulletin, when they all returned, I loved it. I loved all of them. They were fantastic. New characters like Sister Maggie, Ben Poindexter, Agent Nadeem, all of them, all the characters, returning and new, have been phenomenal. I think they all deserve awards for being such great actors. There were no characters from other Netflix shows coming in, which I wish that other characters came in. I wish, Iron Fist or Jessica Jones or Frank Castle even would have a little bit of an appearance, but they didn't. And I'm okay with that, because not having them in there didn't ruin the season for me. It didn't slow things down. It didn't lower the entertaining value of this season. They were able to keep the story and the whole season going without bringing any other characters in. I was already excited for this season, and watching this season, whether things that happened were things I didn't expect, things that happened I did expect to happen, I was entertained the entire time. So I would recommend watching Daredevil Season 3, now available on Netflix, because it's very much worth it. And if you don't have a Netflix account, find a friend that does, and watch Daredevil Season 3 with your friend. And if they don't watch Daredevil, then why are you friends with that guy? You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. This season definitely deserves a 10 out of 10, because it's freaking phenomenal, and the best season to date, not just of Daredevil, but of all the Marvel Netflix shows. Goddamn. So now I'm going into some spoiler territory. I won't be talking about a lot of the stuff that happened this season, just a few things that I really enjoyed, and that's it. So if you have not seen the season, if you don't want to be spoiled, get out. Don't watch this video, but watch Season 3 or watch a few of my other videos and hit that subscribe button, because please. Alright, now, we will now be talking into spoiler territory. So if you've already seen this season, or if you just want to be spoiled for some reason, freaking weirdo, then that's okay. We will continue and we will talk about some spoiler stuff. First thing I want to say is, even though I knew Sister Maggie was Matt's mother, I was very happy with the relationship between the two. It was very clear that they had a mother-son relationship way before the reveal, like halfway into the season. The last time we saw Matt, a gigantic building fell on him, and it didn't kill him. And it's amazing. I mean, Elektra was also in that building, and she's probably dead, although, let's be honest, it's comic books, so there's a 90% chance that she's still alive, so it's whatever. But when Matt awoke and he realized that he wasn't alive, he didn't want to be Matthew Murdock anymore. And I love the development for him this season, because it lines up with exactly what I thought was going to happen with him. In Season 1, he was discovering who Daredevil is to him, and he discovered more about Matthew Murdock for himself. In Season 2, he kind of bounced around would he stick with Daredevil or would he stick with Matthew Murdock? He felt like one could not exist with the other. It had to be one or the other. And he stuck with Matthew. He got rid of Daredevil. And in Defenders, he sort of brought back Daredevil, not because he felt like it was something that he wanted, it was something he needed. Something that he needed to help, the other Defenders in defending. And in this season, it was kind of a little role reversal where he felt like he had to be Daredevil and he needed to get rid of Matthew Murdock, but he also couldn't have the red costume that he had before. Obviously, because, that costume was destroyed, but also because he felt like, in my opinion, that red costume was Matthew Murdock's Daredevil. The black costume was more of Daredevil discovering himself, and so I felt like that was him going back to the original form of Daredevil, who had no true identity. It was just him. It was just him being Daredevil, and I really enjoyed that he kept on that the entire time. I really do hope that he gets a new red costume next season. His performance was amazing, especially in the last episode where he was telling off Fisk, telling him what was going to happen. His anger, his rage was just phenomenally performed, and Charlie Cox did a beautiful job. Whether it was doing that, fighting off his demons, telling him to kill Fisk, telling him that it's his fault that everything is happening to him, whether the demon comes in a form of his father or a form of Fisk. It so beautiful. I loved it. Frickin' Poindexter, Bullseye's character, whoever played him did an amazing job acting this season, giving us such a compelling villain, a villain that makes us hate and sympathize for him at the same time. Wilson Fisk has manipulated him in such a crazy way that it just makes me love Wilson Fisk so much more. And I honestly think that he is probably one of the best MCU villains, not just in Netflix, but in everything, because he's planned through everything. And even though he loses in the end, you gotta give him props. He's very smart. He thought a lot of things through, and he did his best to make sure that there were no loose ends. Or, if there were loose ends, he'd want to own those loose ends. We learned so much more about Karen Page, whether it's about her past, about how she accidentally kills her brother, more about her reaction to killing Wesley in season 1. I was very scared about what they were going to do with her character this season, because this season kind of is based off Born Again, and we all know what happens to Karen in Born Again. But I'm very happy that she made it out alive. I'm very happy that she's grown into a more braver, stronger character. Foggy Nelson shines this season, and he's honestly the MVP. He does so many big things this season. He does so many big things this season, whether he brings people together, brings a big plan out. He does so much, and I love every second of it. So freaking props to him. Agent Nadeem, who I really need to talk about really quick. I love this guy, and even though it's a shame he's dead, he gave such a brilliant performance, a phenomenal performance, that he was such a standout character. He did amazing this season, and funny enough, he was made up for the show. Whether it's like John Diggle from Arrow or something, he was made up from the show, and he does an amazing job as this brand new character that came up just for the show itself. The one thing that did annoy me a little bit about this season was how Nadeem's wife got annoyed with him about finding out about Fisk and everything. And she has every right to be mad, but she kind of makes it out to be trusting her and telling her these certain things. Which, I get it. But at the same time, I wasn't a fan of how they were bringing in that writing trope of how, a character keeps a secret, another character who's very close finds out and gets mad at them for not trusting them. It's clear that it wasn't about trust. It was about keeping them safe. It was about not knowing what to say and when, because Nadeem's been through so much this season. He wanted to help his family. He wanted a big win. not just for himself, but for the whole FBI. And having been tricked by Fisk, having him been the one to bring Fisk in, it broke him. It destroyed him, and he had to live with that for the remainder of the season until he was finally killed, which I'm very upset with. But his character's outing was the thing that drove Fisk back to prison. So I'm very happy about that. I was very amazed at this season. The fight scenes were incredible. The fight scene between Matt, Fisk, and Bullseye was amazing. So many great fight scenes. The hallway fight scene, I think in episode 4 or 5 in the prison, was really well done. The first fight between Murdoch and Poindexter was really damn good. I loved it. Fantastic season. I was never bored once. None of you will be bored once, because I know you're all going to love it, because you're all going to have the same opinion as me, and anyone that doesn't have the same opinion is wrong. I'm just kidding. But hopefully anyone that watches this or does watch the season enjoys it as much as I did. It was a fantastic season, and I enjoyed it a lot. So, alright, this has been my super review. If you want to see more super reviews, I got a whole bunch that are right here. Let me Alright, there we go. See, I got a bunch more right here. If you want to see a whole bunch more, then click on any one of those title cards, see another super review. Remember, this one gets a 10 out of 10. It's beautiful. It's not perfect, but it is damn near perfect. So, watch more of my videos, subscribe, and have a great day or a night. I'm tired.